Well, hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Pennsylvania Association for College Admission Counseling Keystone Virtual College Exploration. This program is a partnership between StriveScan and PACAC for all Pennsylvania students. My name is Liz Frasini. I'm a college counselor at Wyoming Seminary, and I'm also the chair of the PACAC College Fairs Committee, so I'm really thrilled to welcome you today. Before we go ahead and get started, a few housekeeping items. If you have questions for the presenters, please enter them in the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen. I know Christine will be monitoring them and she and Catherine will address them throughout the presentation. Also, this is the Zoom format, webinar format of Zoom, excuse me. So your camera and microphone will be off for the duration of the presentation. You signed up for today's session at the PACAC website, and we're thrilled you're here today. If you'd like to view additional sessions and our full schedule through November 6th, you can do so at www.pacac.org/virtual. You can also view a recording of this session and every other session at that same website. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to Catherine and Christine from Drexel University.
Catherine, you're muted.
Okay, it's Tuesday, right? Welcome everyone. My name is Catherine Campbell-Perna. I'm Associate Director in the Freshman Admissions Office at Drexel University, and also an alum of the university with a degree in communications and a minor in business. Also finished up my master's a few years back in our higher education program. And I am joined by Christine DeLong, also an alum of our university, and we're very excited that you're here today. I currently work with parts of Pennsylvania, including Chester County, Pennsylvania, and Bucks County, Pennsylvania, but feel free to have any questions that you have tonight or in the future. You're more than welcome to direct them to me. Not sure if you've had a chance to visit our campus yet, but we actually are just opening up this week for the first time in many months for visits. So you do need to register for those in advance, 24 hours in advance. So please check our website for that. We also have an open house coming up in November 15th, and we'll talk more about that as well. So Drexel is a private research university. We have over 15,000 full-time undergraduate students spread out amongst 80 different undergraduate majors. You can see we have students coming from all over the country and all over the world. And also you can see our wide variety of alumni. The nice thing to keep in mind is we keep our class sizes quite small. Our median class size is only about 19 students. So I would say great for the students, tough for the admissions office, because when we have our big accepted students days and big open houses normally, we need a lot of large space on campus. So it's very personalized. For those of you who are seniors and you're getting ready to apply to Drexel, or maybe you've already applied, it's important to know we use a holistic review process, and these are all of our different colleges and schools. We are looking for different things for different majors. So for example, prerequisites, I always like to highlight that here for majors like computer science, biomedical engineering, software engineering. Ideally, we'd like to see that students have taken calculus by the end of their senior year. For the rest of the engineering majors, at least up to pre-calculus, and chemistry and physics by the end of their senior year. From there, it just gets easier, all the way down to our LeBeau College of Business, our humanities majors in the College of Arts and Sciences, our Close School of Entrepreneurship, Hospitality, Education, our Westfall College of Media Art and Design. Those majors need at least Algebra 1, Algebra 2, and Geometry, at least 1 year of lab science. And again, it's very important with the holistic review process that we're looking for different things for different majors. Also, our catalog is fully online. So with the catalog, you can see what you're taking as far as classes, a suggested plan of study, detailed descriptions of the courses themselves. Drexel also has over 20 different accelerated and combined degree programs. What that means is you can combine an undergraduate degree and a graduate degree. The most popular of all these programs is our 8-year BS-MD medical program. I personally work very closely with those students. And yes, as a high school senior, you're applying to get into medical school. That deadline is coming up with a November 1st deadline. Drexel is fully test optional this year for all majors except for that 8-year medical program. In addition to that, there's programs like our bachelor's master's program within engineering, our bachelor's MBA program within our LeBeau College of Business. We also have an honors college. With Drexel's honors college, you can still be in a major. So for example, a environmental science major in our College of Arts and Sciences, but also be part of our Pennoni Honors College. If you're in our honors college, you get to pick and choose which honors level courses you take. You get priority in your class registration. They do a lot of fun things. They go and bring in guest speakers. They have field trips that are free of charge. You can also choose to live in the honors residence hall. All right, now, when you're picturing a classroom experience, believe it or not, this is a classroom experience. With the classroom experience with our annual fashion show, this is held at the Urban Outfitters Corporate Center at the Philadelphia Navy Yard every year, and it's organized by our design and merchandising students and featured the clothing all made by our fashion design students. Right, now, hopefully you've heard a little bit about our co-op program, and we'll be talking about more of that in detail. But with Drexel, you're taking what you're learning in the classroom and connecting that to real-world experience with our cooperative education program. Right, now, as far as other ideas and things that enhance your experience at Drexel, if you're interested in doing research, we have our STAR program. It stands for Students Tackling Advanced Research. It takes place the summer after your freshman year at Drexel, and you're paired with a faculty member to do research that summer. Many of those students continue to do that research throughout their time at Drexel. When they're in the STAR program, they get free housing for the summer and also get paid a small salary or stipend. Now, if you're looking to study abroad, we have your traditional study abroad opportunity where you go away for an academic quarter, but we also have co-op abroad where you can go overseas and work for 6 months, plus a growing number of international courses abroad. And this is something I definitely wish I could have had when I was a student at Drexel. With the international courses abroad, they take place during break weeks. So maybe you're reluctant to go away for a few months and rather go for like just a week or two with a group of Drexel students and a Drexel faculty member. You could take advantage of that. So for example, I mentored a chemical engineering student who was very interested in alternative energy. One year on her winter break, she went to Iceland to learn more about geothermal energy. And then in her junior year, she liked it so much, she went over to Venice, Italy to learn about how Venice is flooding and sinking and having issues related to that. But you can participate in something related to your major and receive credit. You can even take an elective course and receive credit. So for example, there's a world religion class that goes over to Italy and Spain. So just one of the many options available for you that way. Also, performing arts. If any of you are involved with performing arts, you sing, you dance, you play an instrument, you're involved with theater, you can be involved with that at Drexel no matter what your major is. There's even scholarships for performing arts at Drexel. Or maybe you've never been involved with performing arts and you've always wanted to take a ballet class or learn how to play the piano. You can take classes related to that as well. Okay, now with our co-op program, Drexel celebrated this year 100 years of co-op. So we've had co-op since 1919. Co-op is available for all of our majors. I like to say it's a way to get experience in a job of your choice, in a location of your choice related to your major. So real hands-on experience. Co-op can be in Philadelphia. It can be closer to home. It can be in other cities. It can even be in other countries too. When you're a student at Drexel, you'll take a class freshman year called Co-op 101. You'll learn about resume writing. You'll learn about interviewing skills. At Drexel, not only do you have an academic advisor assigned to you based on the major you're enrolled in, you also have a co-op advisor assigned to you based on the major you're enrolled in. Drexel has over 1,500 companies working with us for co-op, and the majority of these jobs are paid experiences too. Now, the average salary is going to be indicative to the types of industry you're going into, but the average salary comes out to about $18,000 that students are making in 6 months. Let's say there's a company you've always wanted to work for, and it's not one of those 1,500 companies already working with Drexel. You could work with your co-op advisor to do an independent search too. They just really want to make sure if you're really a civil engineering major that you're not selling pizza on the Jersey Shore boardwalk. So something related to your major. Okay, when students apply to Drexel, they can indicate whether they want the 5-year program or the 4-year program with 1 6-month co-op. So on the left-hand side, that's the 4-year program. They complete their co-op in their 3rd year, either during the fall and winter or during the spring and summer. What most students at Drexel are enrolled in, though, is the 5-year program with 3 6-month co-ops. So they're just in classes for both programs, fall, winter, and spring. They had the first summer off. But if you're in the 5-year program, they start their co-op in the 2nd year. Again, either in the fall and winter or during the spring and summer. So this is a sample of a student who's on co-op during the fall and winter, but in school during the spring and summer. I personally was the opposite when I was a Drexel student, so I was in school during the fall and winter and co-op during the spring and summer. You're not taking classes while you're on co-op. You're also not paying tuition while you're in co-op. You're still in school the same amount of quarters, 12 academic quarters. It's just how it's spread out. All right, if anybody has any questions about any of this, please go to the Q&A section of the chat area, and Christine will be able to reach out to me, and we'll go over the questions when we're finished. Okay, and just these students are very excited about, the co-op experience. It's really, really helpful for when they graduate. You can see 96% of our students or when they graduate are working. Some students have chosen to go on to grad school. That can be very helpful too. I work with a lot of students going on to med school, law school, other kind of graduate programs, and to have that additional experience can really make their resume stand out when they're applying to graduate type programs. Okay, so what about fun things available for students at Drexel? Well, believe it or not, this is our DAC pack. They cheer on our basketball team every year, and we are in the Colonial Athletic Conference. With the Colonial Athletic Conference, we play schools like University of Delaware, Northeastern up in Boston, Townsend in Maryland, Hofstra in Long Island. Every year when we play the University of Pennsylvania, Penn is right down the street from us when we play them in basketball. And our pep band will follow with the basketball team, and they just march a few blocks right down the street to the Palestra to where they play. Now, maybe you want to stay involved with sports, but not in a varsity level. You can certainly do that too. We have a lot of club and intramural sports, so that's available for students to get involved in. We have over 350 student organizations on campus, everything from a Jedi club. There's an amusement park design club for students that are aspiring engineers that want to make amusement park rides someday. We even have things like our campus activity board, which is a student organization that plans events on campus, but also plans field trip type of events for students too. So for example, we're fully virtual this fall, but normally we'd be on campus, and as we get close to Halloween, they would organize little trips possibly over to the Eastern State Penitentiary in Philadelphia, which is considered one of the most scariest sites I think in the whole country. We had some students take a trip out last year out to Delaware County to the Bates Motel, which is the big haunted hayride area. So they're always doing different fun things. This year, our fall concert, since we're all virtual, is going to be a virtual fall concert. So that's another student organization to get involved in. We do require all first and second year students to live on campus, unless they're living with their parents within a 10-mile radius. But take it from somebody who's gone to Drexel, living on campus is really the best way to get to know people and make friends and make connections. We have your typical 2 people in the room, bathroom down the hall type setup. We also have suite style residence halls where you're still sharing a bedroom with someone, but there's 2 or 3 bedrooms in a suite, living room area, kitchen, and bathroom for your suite. So lots of different options for living on campus. And we're in the University City area, a section of Philadelphia. So it's Drexel, Penn, and the University of Sciences in Philadelphia. There's about 40,000 college students just in that 2-mile area right there. And depending on where you live, not sure if you've been into Philadelphia before, but there's so much to see and do in Philadelphia. You will never be bored. There's over 250,000 student organizations on campus. I think this is Old City, Philadelphia. I was just down there over the weekend. They have certain streets closed off, and they just have restaurants with tables sitting outside right now. So there's lots of fun things to see and do. Whether you like music, and we hope the concert scene will come back soon. Tons of concert venues in the area. Even just a few blocks from our campus is World Cafe Live. So there's tons of things to see and do. If you're interested in sports, you don't even need to have a car to get around to our big stadiums. Lots of sports always going on. All right, and no matter where you may be coming from today, just a little key location here where we are in Philadelphia. So we're right there in Philadelphia, and not too far away from Washington, D.C. or New York City, and anywhere Amtrak goes. All right, hopefully you like what you see and you're looking to apply for this fall. This year, I will mention that if you are from Pennsylvania, which I'm assuming most of you are, we are waiving the application fee for all Pennsylvania residents. So you would just go to that application fee section, the fee waivers, and you can indicate Pennsylvania resident. We use the common application or the coalition application, and we would need your completed 9th, 10th, and 11th grade grades, as well as what you're taking senior year. There's only one essay we would need from the common application or the coalition application, except for our Westfall College of Media Art and Design. So if you're applying to our Westfall College, that's majors like game design, music industry, architecture, interior design, any of the design majors. They all have a second essay, referred to as a writing supplement. About half of those majors do require a portfolio also, and the other half have an optional portfolio. But I'd still recommend submitting a portfolio if you're applying to any of the design majors. The reason being, myself and several people in the office, we all handle applications from students from various parts of Pennsylvania. But then if you're applying to a design major, they go through a second review by those individual academic departments. So that's who you're designing the portfolio for. That's who you're writing that writing supplement for. So just keep that in mind when you're submitting that. We'd like to see 2 letters of recommendation, usually from a school counselor or a when you're academic teachers, you may send additional ones, but keep in mind, this is a holistic review process. Please don't send 10, then I have to read all 10 of them. but anything you want to submit for your activities, we're looking at what you do in school, out of school, maybe you have a part-time job, maybe you're helping with your little brothers and sisters and they're online learning right now, anything you're involved in, just put that on your application. Right, this year, as I mentioned, we are SAT and ACT optional, and that is a question on the application, whether you're going to be submitting them or not. If you are planning on submitting them, however, we need either the official scores from the testing agency, or you may email us a copy of the score report. So we won't take them from your application, but you can email us a copy of the score report. That is a new thing this year. Okay. And I mentioned that 8-year medical program earlier. They have a College of Medicine supplemental application too that you would access through your Drexel portal. For everyone, after you apply to Drexel, about 2 to 3 days later, you're going to receive access to a Drexel portal. And that portal is so important. It tells you, are we missing your transcripts? Do we need your recommendation letters yet? Do we have your financial aid forms? Once decisions are made, the decisions and financial aid packages are all posted on that portal. So please make sure you receive that about 2 to 3 days after you apply at the university. Okay, as far as scholarships and financial aid, we will automatically consider you for academic scholarships when you apply for admission. In addition to that, if there's one thing to remember from this session is Drexel uses something called the CSS profile. That is a more detailed financial aid form through the College Board website. There are very strict deadlines for that. We'll be talking about that as well. We'll still encourage you to fill out the FAFSA form, but the CSS profile gets you considered for the maximum amount of university aid. Also highly recommend students checking out outside scholarship searches too, things like FastWeb and College Board. If you haven't heard of Scholly, SCHOLLY, Scholly is an app that was created by a Drexel student in our Close School of Entrepreneurship. His name's Christopher Gray, and when he was applying to colleges, he knew he needed a significant amount of scholarships to make college affordable. So when he came to Drexel, he teamed up with a computer science major and created Scholly. Since then, he's been on Shark Tank. It was one of the fastest deals several years ago, closed on Shark Tank. He has since graduated, and he's moved his operations out to the West Coast. And I heard that Scholly was featured on the App Store just a few weeks ago. Okay, now as far as deadlines, I still can't believe we're past the middle part of October already. So we have 3 ways to apply. There's early decision, early action, and regular decision. So early decision is the binding one, which means if we're your top choice, we're the only school you want to go to. If you're accepted, you're coming to Drexel no matter what, that's early decision. There's also early action. Early action, you can apply to all the schools you want, and you still have until May 1st to make a final decision. So that's usually a little more practical for more students. For both early decision and early action, your file needs to be complete by November 1st. And then that CSS profile is due by November 15th. The reason that's due so early is when you get accepted, hopefully, you're going to hear about not only your acceptance, but scholarships and financial aid all at the end of December. Now, if you're applying regular decision, their deadline's not till January 15th. The CSS profile, that is not due till February 15th. And then they're going to hear back from us by the end of March. And then you have that May 1st deadline to confirm your enrollment for either early action or regular decision. Excuse me. Okay, if anyone's looking for transfer admissions information, we are very transfer friendly for all of our majors except for music industry and architecture. All of our majors do enroll in the fall quarter, and some of our majors do enroll in the winter and spring quarter. It does vary depending on the major you're applying for. They're more on a rolling admissions basis. They do still use the CSS profile. And they would just need your college information if you have 24 or more college credits. If you have less than 24 college credits, then you would need to send your high school information as well. Okay, and if you're on social media, we're pretty much on all of it. Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, doing a lot of Instagram stories these days. So I highly recommend, checking that out if you get a chance and looking up Drexel admissions. You'll see Christine on there. She had a lot of stories last week. So some great information there. And also open houses. So our open houses will be virtual. We just had one in October, and then our next one is November 15th. The difference between an open house versus a session like this is you will get to hear more detailed information from the academic departments. So they will be the ones giving presentations. Our pre-med advisor also gives a presentation. Our co-op office gives a presentation. So we'll have half of our majors in the morning and half of the majors in the afternoon, and that is a Sunday. And we do have virtual tours available on our website too, if you want to check those out. as well as additional virtual information sessions during the week and even some live information sessions in person right now. Okay, as far as contact information, email is really the best way to contact us. We are still working remotely for the most part. I do have a phone number connected through my computer if you wanted to call me that way. And then that link there is to our view book. Our view book used to look kind of like this, but it's all blue now, but it's a really great information. It's about 30 some pages of information you can look up, and there's a PDF of it if you go to that website there. All right, now I wanted to open it up to questions. Christine, you have some questions, and everyone else, feel free to go to that chat area and the Q&A section and put those questions in.
So the first question that we have is there a different application that you have to fill out to be a part of the co-op program?
That's a great question. No, it's not. So when you fill out the common application or the coalition application, there's a Drexel area there, supplement, I believe they call it. And that is where you'll put the major down. And after the question about what major do you want, there'll be a drop-down area for the co-op program. So most majors do have the option of the 5-year program with 3 6-month co-ops or the 4-year program with the 1 6-month co-op. It does vary. Some of the design majors are just 4 years with 1 6-month co-op. Most of the engineering majors and more technical majors, you have to do at least 1 co-op, but that is all part of just your regular admissions application. Same thing for the accelerated and combined degree programs. Those would be listed under the majors if they're available for that major. Sorry, I'm like one of those people that still has a home phone. Everyone likes to call at dinner time.
The next question is it a disadvantage for students who aren't applying with standardized test scores?
Definitely not. I mean, this is our first year being test optional, and we know a lot of students just haven't had the option to take tests. They keep getting canceled, and we completely understand that. So that's absolutely fine. You're not at a disadvantage without sending them in. If you have them and you want to send them in, great, go ahead. But you're not at a disadvantage.
And then another question is, what is the middle 50% for the GPA, SAT, and ACT for both regular admission and the honors college?
Okay, well, I'll go backwards there. For the honors, I don't have any specifics on the honors. It is a holistic review, so they're not looking for any kind of specific average or minimum or anything like that. I can tell you for the university, our average overall is about a 1270 on the SAT. Average GPA was about a 3.7 last year. Do you know any other specifics as far as the range? I mean, I can give you a range. I did have the range here. Sorry, no one has asked because I'm not going to college fairs anymore. I haven't even had to answer that for a while. Yeah, it looks like for the SAT was around math was between a 590 and a 710. For the critical reading was between a 580 and a 670. For the ACT, it was between a 25 and a 30, so the average being around a 27 or so. But again, it's holistic, so we're looking for different things for different majors. If you're applying for more of a technical major, engineering major, computer science, we're going to look more at your math and science grades, more at your math SATs if you have them, or ACTs if you have them. If you don't have them, don't worry about it. So hopefully, does that answer everything there?
Yep. And then the next question is, do you allow dual enrollment credits to transfer in when students apply that they're taking in high school?
Yeah. So the way dual enrollment works, first of all, they can't be used as a requirement to graduate from high school. So if it's over and beyond what you need to graduate from high school, then it can be considered for the academic departments. So I would say if you're accepted to the university, decide to enroll, then you want to send us official copies of those college transcripts. And then the academic advisors then will do a credit evaluation and decide how those credits will transfer. It does usually need to be a C or higher, and then be of a level that you would need to take. So for example, if you're looking into engineering, and it's a pre-calculus class, that wouldn't count because engineers start into calculus. So it has to be on the level of what you need to be taking in that or higher. So.
And then it looks like this is the last question, unless we get more coming in. But this is specifically about the BS, BA, MD program. Is the MCAT still required after your undergrad? And what are the SAT and GPA requirements for the program?
Great question. So yes, the MCAT is still required. If you go to our website and just Google Drexel BSMD program, there will be information there as far as the MCAT requirement for that. Historically, they did have a minimum SAT score of a 1420 or a 31 ACT. This year, they might be a little more flexible because, again, we know a lot of people just haven't had a chance to take it, or maybe they're taking it for the first time recently, or they took it like when they were in 10th grade. So we understand that. So they might be a little bit more flexible. So I would say, definitely still apply to it. Your first kick are considered for the undergraduate major you apply to, which is either biological sciences, the BA in chemistry, or biomedical engineering, and then you get considered for the BSMD program. So it does not hurt your chances of getting accepted into Drexel if you apply to it. So it just really just kind of a second step in the review process. So I would encourage you to definitely apply to it. If you have more specific questions, certainly feel free to reach out to me because I am the main person that works with that program. Any other questions coming in?
That is all of our questions.
Is that it? Really? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Everyone's going to email me afterwards, right? All right, everyone. Well, thank you guys so much. I'm trying to think if there's any other things. I'll just add a few extra little things here. I always add at the end, so we do have some time. If anyone's taking AP classes this year and you're taking AP tests, we usually give credit for 4s and 5s on the AP tests. And if you're in an international baccalaureate program, we usually give credit for 6s and 7s on the high level exams. So I just always like to mention that. Again, those are handled by the academic department, so they figure out how those credits will transfer over. But I just like to mention that as well. Also encourage you to send any kind of senior grades you have, especially if you're applying regular decision. Even if it comes in after November 1st for early action, we'll be reviewing things throughout the month of November. So, feel free to have your school send those, and transcripts do need to come from the school. So keep that in mind as well. However, it's easy as they send it through Naviance or whatever system they may use to send it over to us, that's fine. Another question come in?
Yep, we got one real quick.
Okay.
On average, how many AP classes do you recommend in high school?
Oh gosh, now, you know what, honestly, every school is different. So we don't have any expectations of how many AP courses you take. Some people might not have any, some people might have 5, some might have 10. So there's really no specific recommendation if you're not in the 12th grade yet and don't have that schedule yet. We want you to challenge yourself, but we also want you to do well in your classes, so don't overly extend yourself too. But we know, some schools offer more than others, and we understand that. So there's no expectation. As long as you have those prerequisite courses that I mentioned, they don't need to be on an AP level. Any other things coming in?
Nope, that's every question.
All right. Well, it looks like we're not running out of time, but I guess if we're out of questions, we're out of questions. So, well, thank you guys so much again. Please, feel free to check out our website to come to visit our campus in person. Our tours hopefully will be starting eventually. We're again waiting for our students who are not on campus right now. But any questions at all, we have virtual tours available online. We have virtual information sessions too, and we have that open house coming up on November 15th. So, all right. Well, we thank you guys so much. And I guess some housekeeping notes from PACAC.
Thank you so much, Catherine and Christine. This was a really great session from Drexel University. For those of you joining us live today, there is a quick 4-question survey at the end of the presentation. And then again, if you'd like to sign up for additional sessions through November 6th or view recordings of this session or any others, you can do so at www.pacac.org/virtual. Thanks so much, everyone.
All right, have a great night, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, bye.